Hey Super Awesome Stampers, this is Super Awesome Stamper Shirley. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today I am sharing how to make these sour cream cups. They've been around for a long time and I've never made them because you always have to rip the packaging to get what's inside. But I saw this video by fellow demonstrator Amy Conkley. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right. But Amy shared how to make this fold-over top, which allows you to easily access what's inside and not rip the packaging. So let's get started. I'll share how I created my own design based off of hers. Alright, so you're going to start with a 6x6 piece of Designer Series paper. This is from the Moroccan package. Score it at 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch, just on the one side. Okay, and then I'm going to move the scoring tool out of the screen. No longer need that. Next step is to take the edge that you just scored and crisp up those edges with your bone folder. One at a time, just like that. Okay, next step is to take our tear and tape, find that edge, and then you're going to run a piece of tear and tape. I'm going to move that out of the way a little bit in the scoring stylus. I'm going to overlap my tear and tape on that edge I just folded over, and then run my fingers along and try to keep it as close to that edge as possible. And then just rip the tape off down there. Now I'm going to flip it over and put a piece, doesn't have to be quite as long, along the bottom edge. Okay? Alright, so next step is I'm going to fold this with my bone folder. And I'm going to try to get that, the rounded part going. That'll help with sealing up the tube here. Okay. So now next step is to pull that tear and tape off on both sides. And then I'm going to try to do this as best as I can on camera. What I am doing is I'm eyeballing this edge up with this edge. And interestingly enough, when I made the sample of the Moroccan, the patterns matched up pretty well. They must have had these sour cream cups in mind, right? When they made this pattern. Oh, it's pretty well too. So I'm pressing down at the top where I folded it over. I'm going to flip it over. I found that flipping around makes it a little easier. And what I'm trying to do is I'm forcing it shut. Trying to follow that pattern too. That kind of guides me and makes it a little more even. Okay. So next step for me would be to take the top edge, which is the folded over edge, and the seam will be in the center, and I'm just going to squish that shut like that. Sorry, I had a low battery warning there. Hopefully we will finish recording here. So I'm going to squeeze that shut, and since we have tear and tape on the bottom, we can squeeze this one shut. And what I'm doing is I'm squeezing it and I'm making sure this seam is going to fold over a little bit. So I'm going to squeeze it shut like that. See, that fold is hanging out there, so I'm going to force that and wrap it around. I think it makes for a better seal that way. Now next step is I'm going to bring in the handy dandy paper crimper, which is probably, 15, 20 years old. It still works great. We used to sell it, so that's a tip. If Stampin' Up! Sells some tools, grab them, and even though they retire, you can still use them in your stash. And occasionally I pull this out for projects just like this. And what I'm doing is crimping that tear and tape down a little bit, creating extra seal and making a nice polished look on the bottom. Okay, so this seam is the back of the sour cream cup. Next step, here's the finished one that I did. We'll work on the bell. So I've stamped the Just For You from the Teeny Tiny Wishes. I've inked it using the Emerald Envy marker. So it's easier to stamp first and punch second and make sure your bell is perfectly positioned on that. Next step, I chose to use a glue dot on the back just for extra security that it's going to stay where I want it. I'm not just going to rely on the gold clasp to hold it in place. Okay, second gold clasp is right here. That will secure it shut in case you have anything that might try to roll out of your sour cream cup. Okay, and then we have these gold metallic shapes. I took one and just put it at the bottom of that bell, just for an added touch there to bring that gold tone in. Next, now on my sample, I had this thick baker's twine. I don't have any goldish color thick baker's twine that's current, but I have this that was from the Celebration Pack from, I do believe, 2016. So all I did was eyeball it. I let the baker's twine fall just below that, and then wrapped it almost four times, and then let it hang down. You probably could tie it at this point, but I'm going to cut it off. I think that's a little easier. And now I am going to attempt to tie a bow on camera. What do you think? Can I do it? Can I do it? And of course my fingers are cold, so that never helps. So let's see how long it will take. Usually a bow takes about 30 seconds to a minute. And that's if I'm going at a good clip and don't have to work around a camera stand. Okay, looks pretty good, right? Okay, so now we're just going to fluff a little bit. Fluff it is what I said. My words sometimes get a little jumbled. Okay, there. And, oh, that looks almost good. So we're going to take our scissors and cut that off. Now that bow's kind of going to hang there. I think I kind of like it though, just like that. So there you go, our sour cream cups with a design that allows you to reach inside and pull your treat out and not destroy the packaging. So thanks for watching. This is Super Awesome. Stamper Shirley. Bye.